Hello, everyone, and welcome to the April 24th, 2026 CMA panel podcast, where we're here to discuss Knowledge 2026. So, with me, I've got Abhishek, Paul, Malham, Patrick, and Mark. We're going to cover some of the tips and tricks that we have, some new stuff that has changed for this year's conference, and some of the things that we're super excited about. But before we get into those, Abhishek, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Sure. Thank you, Chris. Abhishek Srivastava, based out of Hartford, Connecticut. I work at Genpact as a solutions and IP development leader. Been with the ServiceNow platform for around 15 years, implemented for a lot of customers, roadmap for them, help them how to utilize the platform, and presently all about making AI agents. So if you are at Knowledge, please meet me at booth number 3406 and let me guide you how to go about creating agents. Thank you.
Excellent. Yeah. First sales pitch. Paul, up for the second one.
I'm immediately embarrassed that I do not know our booth number at Knowledge, but feel free to find me at the Ateco booth. I'm sure we'll be easy to find. It's not a big conference, right? My name's Paul McNamara. I've been working in ServiceNow since the last of the season versions, however long ago that was. I've been implementing it in every industry you can imagine. I built a Canadian partner, which sold to a bigger Canadian partner back in August, and now I help with the architecture practice at that company, and I'm also a community MVP. I run a developer meetup out of Kitchener, and pretty involved in ServiceNow in every aspect that I can be.
Thank you. Malham.
Yeah, hi, my name is Melhem, or short Mel. I'm based in Germany, so it's quite in the evening now. And I work with ServiceNow platform since 2009. Back then, nobody knows what the version number was, but you can look it up. And I'm working as an architect since then, and also currently very heavily involved in building AI agents for customers, and of course using Claude Code to let ServiceNow code themselves. And happy to be here. Thanks, Chris.
Yes, thank you. Patrick.
Yeah, hi, everybody. I'm Patrick Latella. I'm based outside of Denver, Colorado. I'm the ServiceNow practice lead at KT2I, Conchi Technologies. And I've been in the ServiceNow ecosystem since 2015. I went through my CMA cohort with Abhishek, so he was one of my cohort members. And I specialize in strategic solution design, architecture across the platform, lots of road mapping for customers. Really, at the end of the day, it's lots of just bringing as much value as we can to our customers, as I know we all are trying to do all the time. And I'm really excited for this session because I am somebody who is very excited about knowledge and looking forward to talking about it.
Excellent. And certainly last but not least, this is just the left to right order in which I see the podcast stream. So
it's all right. Chris, Mark Carvin, I'm an architect now with a head. I recently changed partners a couple months back, focusing a lot on the architecture overall, but I also have spent time standing up AI centers of excellence, building AI agents, and all the rest of that. I was in Chris's cohort, and this will be my fourth year going back to Knowledge. So I guess let's just transition there this four knowledges now. So
yeah. Oh, nice. This is my upcoming fourth as well. My name again is Chris Shu. I'm known as the ServiceNow Magician. You see me at Knowledge and you want to see a magic trick, just ask. I think before we get going, this is meant to be interactive. So feel free to throw a comment in, ask us a question. We'll definitely get to it. So what are we all excited about when we first get there? Is anybody going for Monday?
I'll be going Sunday and helping with the presentations Monday. I don't know about everybody. I did the Genius Lounge last year, particularly at pre-con, and just interacting with people. They come to you with their problems, and being able to help people, I think, is one of my favorite things to do there. And this year,
Okay.
I think we're doing the Genius Lounge all 4 days, so the lines never let up.
That's true. So, for those of you who don't know, does anybody want to explain what the Genius Lounge is? Have we all done this, the Genius Lounge, before? I've only done it once.
Yeah, I think no, this time I'm going for the first time in the Genius Lounge.
Okay.
Same.
Same. Okay. So I'm going. I kind of did it ad hoc. Mark, it sounds like you've got the most Genius Lounge experience. So would you mind covering what it is and how people can interact with it?
So it really is come to the lounge, and you get one-on-one time with ServiceNow CMAs to ask your questions, right? Sometimes it's a technical question, sometimes it's a business process question. And we're here. There's usually, say, 6 to 8 architects in the lounge at any given time. We're there for a couple hours, and then the next set of architect comes in, and you stand in line, and when it's your turn, you're called up and you get one-on-one time. There isn't necessarily a time limit, but we do ask that folks be respectful, that have just 1 or 2 questions. We're not here for to solve all your problems in 20 minutes, so that we can move through. But it's you want to talk to an architect, you have a pressing ServiceNow question, we're here to answer that. And that's generally what it is.
Oh, that's very cool. So be sure to check that out. You'll have to look on the map to see where the Genius Lounge is. And speaking of the map, it should be easy to find the Ateco booth, Paul, because you'll be at the top left, near the top at least, when you search through that list of companies to find the booth number.
The alphabetic advantage. We love it.
That's right. Yeah. So I know that there was a partner that started with a Z or a Z deliberately for that knowledge placement. Okay, there's a couple changes to cover that I'd like to get into. The first is the locations of some of your sessions. So I don't know if everyone's gone through and built out their My Agenda, but you're going to want to do that well in advance and make sure that you have enough time to get from one to the other. But who was it that called that out before we went live? Mark again. Yeah. That some sessions are in the win and some sessions are not. So if you have something that's on the expo floor, you're going to want to make sure you're going to have enough time to get to a conference room in the theater at the Wynn. How long do you guys think it takes to walk from the expo floor to the Wynn? Just to get to hotel?
Yeah, maybe 20 to 25 minutes if you do not find a lot of people walking around from one place to the other.
Right.
So yeah, it would be better, to start in time, maybe take 20-25 minutes in hand to reach your respective sessions.
Particularly if you've never been to the Wynn before and need to get familiar with that. There are a couple of ways to get there. One is going to be through the bridge to the Sphere, that you can walk that way. But I've generally found it's faster when you go down to the registration area. When you pick where you pick up your badge, you can kind of go out onto the loading dock there, and then coming off the edge of the loading dock is pretty much a straight line across the Sands Boulevard there and up one of the driveways into the Wynn. That might be a little bit faster, but you're still probably looking at 8 to 10 minutes just to get there. But that's going to really require you, once you walk in the building, to know where you're going. And that's going to be the toughest spot, is where are all these rooms? Because it's not like you just find a different floor in a Venetian.
And it's really important to remember, when the sessions are full, you've only got a few minutes after the session starts before they give away your spot, which also leads into, just because a session's full doesn't mean you shouldn't try to attend. They will let people in. You're never going to get 100% attendance of the registrants. So if you show up, you've got a wait list. So if you've got a 20-minute walk between buildings, you could get there and find out that your spot's been given away. So time things accordingly and wear comfortable shoes.
Yeah, and just piggybacking on that point Paul made, because I've seen some sessions really full, but still they allow people to stand at the back of the seats. So if you are really interested to go in a session which interests you, you should give it a try.
Yeah, and one last point for sure, same messaging. But Chris, you had said, you're going to want to do your planning well in advance. Unfortunately, I think that time has sort of passed. In my previous
Right.
views, if you waited this long to sign up for some of the juicier sessions, a lot of the hands-on keyboard ones where you're really going to get some technical learning, they probably are full by now. In fact, I went in the very first day I think it was open, and many sessions were already full. It was like waiting in line for concert tickets for Paul McCartney or something.
Right.
It got snatched up. But that said, don't let it deter you from showing up.
Yeah.
But even then, there can be a bit of a line. So if there is a session that you really want to get to, and it's booked, still go, but try to be first in line for the sub.
Know where it is, right? Plan out your day. Is okay. I'm going to do 3 or 4 sessions at the Win, and then I'm going to do 2 or 3 sessions back at the Venetian, or however you want to do that. One of the biggest things that I've taken advantage of in years past is, as I do the agenda builder, you can basically favorite sessions. So I might have 2 or 3 sessions. I might be booked for one, but I got the heart down for 2 or 3 of them, so that when you get to the agenda and have that open on your mobile app, and again, strong recommendation, get the mobile app. I just re-downloaded it today. Get the mobile app. Make sure that you can look at those favorites along with what you have booked, and make your decision of where you want to go. In speaking at sessions, there's always seats, so be considerate of folks, and try and leave as much room in the seats for people, that other folks can come in and sit down and all the rest of that. Generally, there's seats there because people just kind of leave too much space in there. So I wouldn't panic, especially if you're trying to do something, say, on a Wednesday or Thursday. I will pretty much guarantee you there'll probably be a space for 1, 2, 3 people. If you're going with a group of 10 or 15, different story. But if it's 1 or 2 people, you probably can get in on a Wednesday or Thursday sessions. Tuesdays are usually the toughest.
It is funny to see the numbers drop on Thursday. I think it might have something to do with Vegas, but it's a really great point to have backup sessions that you thought would be good, and don't have a backup session in the Venetian from one in the Win. Try to find things that are close, or presentations on the expo floor often have seats available. Have a backup plan so you're not wasting the time, because as fun as Vegas is, you're there to learn and you're there to engage, and wandering around because you didn't get a session for 2 hours is not the best use.
And also,
Yeah,
people are really used to looking at their phones, their outlooks, their calendars on their phones. We are really used to checking our meetings on the Outlook application. So just so that everyone is aware, there is a capability on the sessions. You can sync your URL, your sessions which you have selected. You can sync it with Outlook or whatever application you use to check your emails, so that you get reminded of, and you can compare what time you have a meeting from the office, because I know all of us are meeting clients there. So you can check what times you're checking your sessions versus your client meetings, and you can validate. So do use that feature. It's really cool. I found it really useful in last knowledges.
Nice. So a couple things to recap. First is that, yes, the time to save your seat at a session has most likely passed, but you can still bookmark. So going in and planning and bookmarking in your agenda is going to help out. Be strategic when you are consolidating your activities. You want to make sure they're close together so that you don't lose a lot of time going back and forth. And have that backup plan and be ready to call those audibles as you need to, so that you don't end up wandering around like I sometimes end up doing. So in the expo thing, which is also a lot of fun. But
Yeah, I was just like, can I interject in there real quick there, Chris?
Sure.
Right. Part of the fun part of knowledge is, for the amount of people there, and we can come back and talk to this. It's amazing how many people you run into for the volume of people that are there. I know this person, I know that person, and there is, for lack of better terms, a speed dating element to it. That you're passing somebody in the hall, or you're wandering around the expo floor, and all the rest of that. So once you have that calendar set, kind of have your plan and walk around with your head up, because you never know who you're going to see. You never, Bill McDermott runs around there all the time. And if your head's down in the phone, Bill will stop and take a picture with you if you catch him at the right spot. But keep your head up and look around and take the time to absorb it. Don't just back to back to back every single session, because knowledge is about the people as much as it is the session. So I open the floor up.
You buried the lead there, Mark. So Mark knows firsthand that walking around with your head up can get you a selfie with Bill McDermott, because he texted me one. Was that last year?
2 years ago.
2 years ago, yeah. So it does happen. I have yet to capture mine, so that's kind of what I'm hoping for this time. So let's move into what are some of the goals you have when you go through the expo floor. It cannot be just collect as much swag as you want. Who carries?
I don't know that they're allowing swag. They didn't allow swag last year.
Yeah, but people still did it. Yeah, you're right.
They say that it's a swag-free event, but I see a lot.
Yeah, it's your T-shirt in water bottle. So, what do you guys want to accomplish when you walk around on the expo floor?
I'm quickly pitching in. I'm looking for anyone who's doing autonomous AI agentic work. I mean, it's going all over the place. Look at the ServiceNow prices, which are being ServiceNow stock prices, which are going down like anything, just because of how Anthropic and Claude, are making their way up. So I'm really interested how organizations are using the AI Agent Studio and the AI Control Tower to develop these agents, and how they are, looking into solving customers' problems with these autonomous IT, HR, IRM workers. I'm really intrigued. I'm not sure how many of you were there at SCO earlier this year, but they did a fantastic booth. In a booth, they showed about the autonomous IT, HR workers. And I've not seen them yet. Only the IT workers, I've seen that to just one part. So I'm really looking forward to that. Plus any of the other cool stuff which I've seen in the past. Some of the partners bring in. So, but agentic is my go-to this year.
Okay, Patrick, how about yourself?
Well, for me, one of the things I think about really anywhere I am at the entire conference is it's always about the relationships and the learning. It's those two things together. And the floor or a session or the hallways, what makes knowledge so amazing is exactly all these points that we're saying. There's a lot to learn, but there's lots of relationships. And so when we learn about customer challenges, or we learn about what other folks are doing with a piece of the technology, how are other people solving challenges? I mean, one of the biggest things for me is just there's an amount of energy, and I like to think that it is pretty much pervasive, but it's certainly what I walk around with, where I'm just really, really excited to be there and learn and make connections. And there's a collaborative nature to it, people sharing. It's all about value for customers. And even, one of the things you go around these booths, they're giving their IP away. They're telling you why they're so great. And in that nature and that spirit, I just think it's a wonderful collaborative energy. And for me, the expo floor is obviously a place you could spend the whole time and be talking to somebody about something of value the whole time. In fact, sometimes it's hard to peel away from it. The number of sessions I've probably missed because I feel like, well, in the moment here, maybe I want to continue a conversation that I'm having or see who else I might run into, because there's that serendipity part of it. So it really, for me, it's those two things, just hard charged as much as you can. The relationships and the learning is just invaluable.
Appreciate that. Mark, how about yourself?
Echoing what folks have said, I like listening. I like hearing what's going on. And one of the nice things is everybody's open to the exchange of ideas. I remember last year I was walking with a couple colleagues and heard people behind me talking and saying something. I don't even remember what it was. I turned around and it's Jay Spencer. And I'm like, hey, you see, you meet people, but that you can get into those conversations and you're there helping people do things, right? It's yes, making the business connection, but to me, it's about hearing the problems and just being able to pick what problems you can try and help solve. That's the fun part to it. I'm with Patrick. I've missed more sessions. I don't schedule many at this point anymore. Most of the stuff I put on the schedule is for people that I know that I want to go and support sometimes, just to go do that as opposed to some of the other things, because it's meeting the people, and that's the best part.
Yeah, that's fair. Paul, how about yourself? I mean, I know you've got some booth time. You pull in a lot of shifts.
This year's interesting because as MVP, I'm a CreatorCon captain, which really just means I'm meeting up with people, and we'll run a discussion at my table as one of many CreatorCon captains. I'm participating in a session about community building and developer meetups and snugs that Manette and Glenn, two of our community organizers, are doing. I'll definitely have booth time. I'll have client time. I've got overlapping events in the evenings with clients and MVP dinners, CMA dinners. This is by far the busiest knowledge in terms of agenda that I've ever had. And I'm really curious how it'll work out. But I would agree that as valuable as the sessions are, walking the floor, meeting people, talking to people, some of the connections I've made at Knowledge over the last dozen years are the people that I reach out to when I run into issues. And having made that connection one-on-one, whether it be having a coffee, a beer, or just chat around the floor, they're more lasting than anything I ever do virtually. So this is our opportunity to be face-to-face with people, shake hands, and make an impression.
I was saying, Paul, I think you and I met like 2 or 3 years ago at Knowledge. That I had a colleague who, based in Canada, and knew you, and walking around, he's like, "Hey, this is my friend Paul," and you meet, and then here you are, a couple years later.
And you were kind enough.
Hey, my friend Paul.
you were kind enough to come to the booth and find me, knowing that I had stumbled on my first attempt at CMA, and give me some encouragement, as many in the CMA community did. So that was great to have people reaching out, following my little LinkedIn journey, and I love those connections, and yeah, it was great meeting you there and chatting with you and learning from your experience as well. Mm-hmm. Chris, you too.
Well,
of course.
Oh, I appreciate that. So just because you don't have a ticket doesn't mean you can't participate. Melhem has gone to probably, I think, the most out of any of us on this podcast. How many is it? 10, you said?
Yeah, I think I counted 10 knowledge conferences there.
10. Yeah, but he's not going to this one. So how do you recommend people enjoy and participate in Knowledge 2026 who are going to have to do so remotely?
Yeah, so first of all, I'm regretting that I cannot come this time, but I would also say it's meeting all the people on the Explore 4 and seeing all, especially what ServiceNow is putting up as showcases for AI, or even if it's a coffee maker booth. Everything what is there is really impressive. So that I will miss, but joining remotely is still possible. So there all the keynotes, 3 keynotes, will be broadcasted. So I think I today received this email conversation. So there is already a marketing email about this, but you can join the keynotes. And it's close to the same fun like trying to find a seat in the keynote room. So you'll probably miss that enjoying piece. But you can join at the ServiceNow website. So www.servicenow.com/keynote. And the times are already out. So if anybody needs the German or Central European times for the keynotes, reach out to me. I'll get them for you. But there is the keynote Bill McDermott will be presenting. Then there's the second one, the product keynote about automation, and especially my favorite actually on Thursday, the CreatorCon keynote with Lauren and the team I work with because since many years I'm running, like Paul also in Canada, I'm running in Munich, the ServiceNow developer meetup. So developer user group being called in future. And of course, the Oktoberfest edition is always the busiest and most interesting one, not because only of the food.
I have to admit that I've walked down to the keynotes, seen the crowd, turned around, gone back to my room, and streamed it from my room at in Vegas. So it's an option when you get tired of the crowds as well.
Yeah, that's very true. And you can watch the keynotes now from some of the breakout rooms. Mark had pointed that out, and I've also seen it in some of the screens in the expo.
Yep.
So I know last year, I think the third one was Conan O'Brien, and the seats was just I got there too late. So I stood in line at that ServiceNow University thing and watched it from there and kind of did double duty because the second that they opened it right after the keynote ended, I was, in line already and got through that one quickly to get that little pin. I don't know where it went though. So, okay. Do you guys have any other things that you do in regards to the keynotes?
Be there early, as you said, that especially the first day, it literally is a cattle call to get there. And on the other side of it, do you guys remember the line for getting into the sphere?
Yeah.
When that opened, right? And that was almost as bad as the keynote because that was almost to the casino floor.
Yeah.
From the bridge to get in there. So if you think you were waiting in line and saw people, be ready for people.
Yes.
Yeah, and maybe one more point is, the people who are ushering it, I'm going to speak on behalf of the people who are on the staff of coordinating the entire event. I know that trying to shuttle 18,000 people into a room, there's a methodology that they're using there. For anybody who hasn't been before, be ready to be ushered right past a whole bank of empty seats. And you're kind of like, hey, whoa, be respectful. They have a job to do. They didn't make the rules, and they are ushering everybody in a manner that's trying to get everybody in and out as efficiently as they can. So don't be surprised if you see what looks like open seats that you're walking right on by. And also VIP areas that you might not realize they're VIP areas. There are absolutely VIP areas in the main keynote. And you might end up, worst case, you're not exactly where you wanted to be, but there are huge monitor screens everywhere. There's really not a bad seat in the house. And again, it's a big task, right, to get that many people in and out of there.
I'll give a shameless plug to the MVP program. If you can get involved and you can become one, the last couple of years, they've reserved us some couches and comfortable seats at the front of the keynotes, and that perk alone makes it fun.
Yeah,
that's true. Yes,
that's nice.
Speaking of the sphere, they did change how those tickets are being assigned.
Yep.
So just a heads up, if you missed that, you have to go in and pre-select your section in the sphere. And then you need an account from Ticketmaster tied to your sphere piece to get in and go through all of that stuff. You will be able to download, I'm told, your ticket to like an iPhone or Google Wallet, Apple Wallet or Google Wallet if you need to. But just wanted to make sure that we know that the line, that long line that we saw last year, that did go almost to that casino floor because it wrapped around, should not happen again this year.
Well, I think that was really to get in once the gates open. But let's talk about that for a minute. Who went last year, and where were you folks? What can you tell people to expect about the sphere?
For the sphere?
Yeah.
So yeah, I can go. I went. I don't remember. I definitely remember the long tunnel line to get just through and into the sphere itself. Once you were in the sphere, things seemed to move okay. But I was second row from the top, middle. So I was way up. And one thing that I'd say, it was amazing. It was one of the most incredible experiences of my life, even though, I've been to many, many concerts and maybe the music wasn't exactly what I wouldn't be my top 5, but it was still amazing. It's going to be a great show no matter what. But the vertical, it was so steep up there. I was like, holy cow, you trip, it'd be like bad. So wear comfortable shoes.
We were in the, sorry, go ahead.
No, that's pretty much it. Yeah.
I was gonna say we were in the 300s. So there are 5 levels, right? Floor 1, 2, 3, and 4. And first of all, the escalator to get up to even the 300 was probably one of the biggest escalators I've seen in my life. But when you're leaving from those top levels, it's safer to go up and out the 400 doors than it was to go back down to where you came in on the 300 doors.
That's a great tip because I requested 300 section this time.
Yeah, the 200s were already sold out. There are places in the 100s that the view is obstructed. So be cautious of if you're looking for 100s because the second level is over your head and you won't be able to see much of anything.
And if you're afraid of heights, don't do it. Don't go up to the top. I got to admit, we got there early and we got seats super high, and I was like, nope. I went right back down and got seats down lower. It was not for me.
Yeah, no joke. It was the same for me. So the 400, the top seats. If you're afraid of heights, it's really not funny. So be careful because it's like this steep. So I have from Munich, I can see the Alps, but it's actually like climbing a mountain. So be careful choosing. So take 200 or 300 then.
Has anyone done on the floor? Because I was trying to get a place on the floor, but I did not eventually select that. But how's the experience from the floor? Has anyone done that?
People I worked with last year were on the floor. I got pictures from them from the floor. I requested the floor this year, but I've not been on that yet.
Gotcha.
I would think it's a better view of the music, but I bet to see the visuals fully. The one thing about being way up high is for anybody who can handle the height, I felt like I was in a really optimal spot to see the visuals of the entire thing.
Yeah.
I could look straight ahead and see everything. Whereas on the floor, I wonder if your neck might get a little craned after a while.
I've heard that too.
I'm going to go back in
Go
October.
ahead.
I'm going back in October, and I was back and forth of what the floor and the level experience was. So I wanted to try and see the floor, but when they were trying to sell me on the experience, they're like, oh well, the bands and the performing artists always put their family on the 200 level and all the rest of that because it's a better experience. I'm like, well, yeah, because they're there for the experience and not necessarily for the band. If you want to be, like you said, for the band, yeah, you're going to see everything, but you're going to be, I mean, it's going to be behind you. I mean, you guys were all there. The screen is up and over your head and behind you in a lot of places if you're on the floor.
Yeah.
So the
And I've
best,
heard that people go to two of the same show at the Sphere, one on the floor and then one up back. And you'll see, if you're on the floor, it's like you're just at a regular concert with the normal screens. You won't see all of it, but you get a great concert experience, and maybe you get the volume you prefer if you like it loud. And then they'll go back and be seated later further back so they can experience the whole Sphere part of it as well. Okay, let's move on though towards talking about one of the larger events, CreatorCon. So I know, Malham, you're a part of this. So can you just do a brief overview of what CreatorCon is and why people would want to participate in it?
Yeah, CreatorCon is actually it's on the one hand the keynote, which is a special keynote for more developer or technically oriented, where some future product parts are shown and concepts are shown, which are really interesting. So then on the other hand, it's on the expo floor. It's a special area where you see really practical applications of using ServiceNow, and you have very practical technical sessions on the expo floor. And it's the very interesting part, which I actually liked the most, is the community pavilion, where Paul already said there will be sessions like how to build a local community and these kind of things. So it's in my opinion, it's the CreatorCon is the less marketing oriented part of knowledge. Of course, the rest of the sessions are very interesting, maybe CSDM or customer service or whatever you are interested in. But CreatorCon is more for technical people, like I am. Parts of me is very technical, is a super interesting in all these areas.
Is anyone else being a participant in CreatorCon? I know, Paul, you've got a table, so we'll make sure we come to you. But Abhishek, Patrick, Mark, are you doing anything with CreatorCon this year?
No.
I am planning to join one of the sessions in CreatorCon, do some, because every time because of all the booth time and the client time we have, I miss those. But this time I'm going to make sure that I attend one or two sessions in the CreatorCon, especially the keynote, because generally what happens is the CreatorCon keynote is generally in the afternoons, not at the
Right.
9 o'clock time. So and that is the peak at our booth. But this time I'm going to make sure that I'm going to the CreatorCon keynote and couple of sessions so that I can do some hands-on.
Nice. Paul, what kind of CreatorCon activities do you do? And you mentioned a roundtable or a community
Yeah,
leader.
so on the Tuesday at 11:30 Vegas time, there's a crew captain arrival. There's going to be a few community members who will share their tips for ServiceNet or for Knowledge and for CreatorCon, and then there'll be just some roundtable conversations led by the captains with some topics thrown up on the screen, and it seems like a good kickoff to help participants in CreatorCon get the most that they can out of it based on previous experiences. I second the point that this is the technical part of the conference. I've always thought they could spin this off into its own conference, and maybe you wouldn't get 20,000 people, but it would be more the nerds than the executives that would be in attendance. And I love nerds. That's not in any way an insult. I am one myself. But I always try to find those sessions because they get a little deeper into the technical. A lot of the times when you go to the sessions that are technical but not within CreatorCon, they have to pace the session to the least technical person in the room, so that the technical resources become a little bored in the initial parts of the sessions. So CreatorCon are a little more technical, a little faster paced for those of us that spend all of our time in technology. Highly recommend finding some of those sessions if you're playing from day to day. You'll learn a lot. And some of the smartest people that I've ever seen present are presenters at of these sessions and have done things with ServiceNow that I wouldn't have even thought possible. So it's really cool to see how the boundaries are stretched.
Definitely.
And Chris, before I forget to mention it, I forgot one important part of CreatorCon is the hackathon. Actually,
Yes.
one reason why I've been 10 times to a knowledge conference is all the first appearances I made was also forming a team and working in a team, not only with my colleagues, but with people I met there, form a team at CreatorCon to then participate in the hackathon. And I think Laszlo, especially Laszlo from the developer marketing team, has already put out some information. So there's, for example, a longer and a shorter version of Hackathon. There is not only AI topics, other topics are there. So you can really choose this year. But actually, if you are interested in really meeting people, but sitting down, bringing your laptop and getting something done in a couple of hours, which is basically amazing, then do it. I was lucky enough to be finalist at some of these hackathons with my team, and it was really great people meeting there and then working with them after. So that's also an important part of CreatorCon, and I like it very much. And ServiceNow sponsoring the food and the drinks during hackathon. So go ahead and register.
Great. Yeah, those are some great tips, and to make sure that everybody gets the most out of the experience. So one of the other things that we had discussed, we wanted to talk about with you was the size of these buildings and what do we do at the end of the day. So, there's the welcome reception from 5 to 6 p.m. Las Vegas time, but Vegas is known as the city that never sleeps, which is true. I go and I sleep. So some of the late night stuff, you probably won't bump into me. But how do you guys run through your evenings at the conference?
I can go first. Generally, what we do is we host a lot of clients after the regular hours. So we have a happy hour for our client, plus a couple of meetings for me. But more importantly, I always try to attend some of the after parties, which are hosted by some of the partners. So I've got a couple of invitations this time But generally, we get those well in advance. So and there we can go and hang out in network and talk about stuff there. So we should be on lookout for those after parties if you can.
And
And
there's
many of them
also
are,
sometimes. Go ahead,
I
Pat.
was going to say, many of them put out, if you're on LinkedIn. So again, this is for people who maybe haven't been too many times or are new to the ecosystem. Keep an eye on LinkedIn. Sometimes some of these, they just put the invite right up for everybody. And maybe it's a bit of a first come, first serve. And one thing I would encourage folks, if, whether so you're new to the ecosystem, okay, it's a very collaborative ecosystem I have found, and it's only getting larger every year. So maybe I remember back in my first knowledge, I might have walked around 80% of the time by myself because I was new and I didn't really know anybody. Each year that just continues to grow. And so just put yourself out there, say hello, and don't be too worried about, oh, I don't know that many people, why would I go? Go and just see what kinds of conversations you can find your way into. Because again, the after hours of knowledge are just a continuation of what was going on during the day, but more heavily weighted on the relationship building side. But we're still learning. You're still talking about, again, challenges and value and things like that. And the meeting of people, of course, if you're going to be in Las Vegas for this week, just be ready to be in a large number of people for 4 straight days. Talk about having a fear of heights. If you don't like to be in crowded spaces, this likely is not going to be a great experience for you. So enjoy the crowd, lean in on it, and just shake as many hands and smile at as many people as you can.
And go pick the empty seat at lunch. Talk to whoever you sit with. I mean, honestly,
Exactly.
If you spend your time searching for the people you know, you're missing an opportunity. I've had some great conversations at the meals and just with the most random people from around the world. And it's always very interesting to hear about their ServiceNow journey, about how they're using the platform or just where they're from and how they came to Vegas.
Yep.
I will add on though, meeting people, having a group of people together is great. Do something for yourself there though too. I always go to Vegas because I never know, is this going to be the last time that I'm going to be there, right? And so pick something that you want to do for you, and maybe you find a group of people and you go do that, right? A couple of years ago, I was like, I want to go see the fountains at the Bellagio. Take 20 minutes, half hour, walk down and see it, right? This year, my goal, I wanted to go up and see Fremont Street because I've not been up there. But pick out a couple things. I know, Chris, like you've gone and seen a show or two or whatever. So make sure you're taking some time for yourself or with the group of people that you're with to do something outside of the conference and take advantage of the fact that you're in Vegas. So, Chris, I don't know if you want to try and talk about what you did. And
Which one? The shows?
yeah, well, just the shows or stuff for you, right?
Yeah. Sometimes I'll go and see a magician. Of course, I have to stay a bit on brand. So we've been fortunate to see a few things. David Copperfield's wrapping his show up and retiring April 30th. So heads up on that. If you want to go see that show at MGM, you got to get there well before Knowledge, probably a week or so early. If you want any ideas on shows, I'm happy. Just post something in the comments. I'm happy to make recommendations. We've seen Cirque du Soleil, a bunch of different stuff. And there's shows for any budget as well. So don't think that you're gonna have to drop $200 a ticket to go see some of that stuff. I really agree with that. Try to find something that works for you that you want to experience while you're there. Take some time away. It'll help you recharge and you'll get more out of the conference as well. There's also these cool down rooms are kind of like quieter, not quiet, but quieter areas. So if you do find yourself on the expo floor and you're like, okay, I'm a little overwhelmed, you can kind of try to look where those are and you can head over to there. I've definitely done that.
And the restaurants on Restaurant Row are going to be packed, so don't look
Yes.
to cool down there. But make sure that you're figuring your meals and all the rest of that in there too, right? There's 2 floors to the Venetian, up the Grand Canal Shops, and all the rest of that. But if you walk up, particularly with a larger group, wanting to do a meal at a particular restaurant, you're probably not going to be able to do that, especially on Wednesday night. Wednesday nights, all of the partners rent out all of their restaurants in the hotel, and if you're trying to find food someplace, if you're not there at a partner party, it's going to be difficult.
Yeah, or you have to go to that food court area thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they opened. Did you see that they opened right off the casino? There's that new food area off to the left.
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah, they got a new Korean barbecue place there. That looks really good. So how, speaking of like engaging and the networking side of things, a few icebreaker questions work very well. So if you sit down next to somebody you don't know them, you can always just say, how did you hear about ServiceNow? Are you working on anything interesting? Or tell me about your company, or what brought you here. Even an open-ended question of, is this your first knowledge conference, can help break that ice, start a conversation, and get you into a place where you want to exchange contact information. I built a little QR code that works with my phone background, and I set that to my lock screen ahead of time. So all I have to do is hit my power button and share my LinkedIn for that connection. I know some people do that with a business card or like an e-business card. There's a bunch of different things, but you'll want to make sure that you have some sort of plan on how you're going to exchange information and which information you're comfortable sharing with everybody. Because sometimes if it takes 30 seconds, we've all seen people scroll through, let me just find that photo, and then 10 minutes goes by and they still haven't found it. Try to make sure that you're efficient with that time so that you can build that positive networking relationship. How do you guys exchange your contact information?
Generally, LinkedIn is the first option. You have to keep the QR code ready, but we have the NFR technology in your iPhone. Just share, just touch anybody's iPhone, and you can share the information. So that is for me first. But I have seen some of the guys, some of the partners, they even carry their business cards, and when I come back home, I have a bunch of those business cards as well. So yeah.
Is the stack just growing and growing?
Yeah, I keep them, but they're very useful. Useful whenever
I go through them.
I have those. I keep all of those.
Right. And especially because you want to, what was that email address? And then you fire that email off. You never know also what's going to happen with, 8 months down the road after the conference. That contact may come back into your life. I've had that happen a lot. You had mentioned Jace Benson was behind you, Mark. That I was the first time I met him. And then was last year. We got to spend some time together at the Vancouver party we hosted in the summer. And I got to kind of help be at the early bird part for that Null Edge piece that he's doing as well, which was pretty cool to see him and that team build it on their own and deploy it. Still going through though. How do you guys also? So Patrick, Mark, Paul, how do you guys manage your contact sharing information?
I think all of the above. I'll take a picture of people's badges, like a real quick and easy. Just snap a quick. You sort of ask first, of course, but another thing I think is again around your planning. For those who haven't been, for all of us, it sounds like we've all been there many, many times. Everybody has a little bit of a different driver for why they're there and what they're looking to get out of it. And I have been there under, I think, multiple different personas. Early, it was just a developer. I was there, I was sent to learn, come back knowing how to do this, And then as you kind of rise through, then maybe if you're obviously in the partner ecosystem or anything where you're selling services, you're trying to find opportunities. Maybe you are an opportunity. I went a couple of times where I was with a customer, and so then partners were coming at me, and so there's all different facets to it. And I think a good way to approach it is have a plan around how you're going to maybe present yourself. Be mindful, right, that there are many different types of people who are there for very, very different reasons. One thing that I didn't really realize maybe in my first couple of years was I just don't think I maybe knew to go and see. I thought it was a learning event. My first couple of years where we're just everyone's here to learn. And then you come to realize, no, this is a customer event. Like they are bringing as many customers as they possibly can to the event so they can show off the latest and greatest, which is also awesome. But be thinking about that. And, And so I do think there is tact, right? Have some tact and be prepared to present yourself. And then at the same time, yeah, having all channels open in this day and age, I'm waiting for somebody to hold a hologram business card up and
Oh my God, that'd be so cool.
Right, how cool would that be? So that's always been my approach: is be respectful and at the same time, yeah, you're sort of like got the butterfly net out and just capture everything you can, and then follow up after the event.
I think the first one I went to was as a customer. Like ServiceNow gave us the passes like 2 days before the conference, and we even had a 24-hour passport issued for one of our coworkers, which was impressive. Then I've gone as the employee of a consulting company. Then I've gone as the owner of a consulting company with a whole team that I brought with me. Now I guess, and that would have been a small one. Now I'm going as an executive of one of the larger consulting companies. So it's been a vast difference. But I also take pictures of people's badges so that I can go back to it after the fact. And the one year I had 15 people out on the floor, and I was like, guys, not everyone comes by the booth. Can you make sure you take pictures of badges? And 5 of the 15 sent me a picture of their own badge.
Oh, I'm going to do that. I'm sending you a picture now.
Still makes me laugh because they missed the assignment, but hey.
Hey, tighter requirements, Paul.
Yes.
That's right, yeah. What was the acceptance criteria there, Paul?
Instructions were unclear. I got what I asked for, a picture of a badge.
Yeah, it works on my computer.
I think for me, it's a little bit mentor-mentee type of thing, that I will go around with a few people that maybe I know already, or run into somebody and they're talking to 2 or 3 other people, and I just kind of step into conversations that way, and like, hey, and within 5-10 minutes you're having a conversation, say, hey, let's continue more. And as Paul and Patrick had said, is snap a picture of their badge. Each badge has a QR code on it as well that ties into the ServiceNow networking thing on the ServiceNow app. So I'll try and scan those things in, and then if I've been there a few times and somebody's new, I'll walk them around and maybe introduce them to how to network. Right, those first couple of years, you're really learning how to network at these events, and then after that, you're teaching others how to kind of do the same.
Yep. Last year, I took my first certification exam for the CMDB CSDM piece. Now, this was a bit of the one where you kind of took feedback. So I made the mistake of not really knowing what I signed up for, and that it was 4 hours and like 270 questions.
Yeah.
I thought it was 60 minutes. But you can get certified while you're there. Just make sure you're understanding what you're signing up for so that you don't go in to the wrong exam, or you don't go in taking a beta exam where they expect you to not just answer the question and try to pass, but then I also had to provide feedback to every single one so that they could refine the exam. The CMDB CSDM, which is also known as Data Foundations, is currently free to get as a mainline certification, I believe, until June 14th. Is that
June 30th, I thought. Yeah.
June 30th? Yeah, okay. Sometime in June, end of June. Double check that just to be sure. But this is a free certification, and it's required now for, I think, 9 others, like ITSM or several others that you may already have. So you need to have this by the end of the year. Knowledge can be a great opportunity to go in, sit and take the exam in that proctored environment, especially if you work remotely and it's a long drive or a good effort to go to a proctored site near your house.
It's also discounted. So one of the things about it, they've really changed a lot around the way at least I have seen it anyway, I believe, right? They changed a lot about the fee structure on the exams. I think it's about a 65 to 70% price reduction if you take a mainline exam at Knowledge. And Chris, I did the same thing last year. I took the beta exam for the platform owner associate exam. Now I knew going into it what I had signed up for, and part of it was I knew I was going to miss the Conan keynote.
Yeah.
And I was sort of like, oh, they'll record it, right? And like, no, I don't think they recorded that. I don't think Conan signed off on that, but it is a great incentive. You could maybe, if the fee for taking the exam is something you're mindful of, it is a way to have it be cheaper.
Excellent. And go ahead, Mark.
to your point, Patrick, with the recordings, right? And we had talked about attending offline earlier. In the past, keynotes and a number of main stage presentations are recorded. They do have an extensive recording thing, and they will post that back to the Knowledge 26 website, that you can go back and rewatch those for at least a couple months after the event. So even if you can't make it, some of the bigger things will be on and available for you. But little sidetrack there.
And I use that as the bookmarks as well. So just because I may not go doesn't mean I want to forget about that session. So just in case they do record it and post it, I've got it bookmarked and I can look it up in the recordings after the fact. Well, gentlemen, we're at time. Just wanted to say thank you all. One last tip or trick if you want to run through. We'll start with Mark. We'll go in reverse order this time.
Bring comfortable shoes.
Patrick?
My first year, my knee was destroyed, and I'm going at this point. Your footwear is going to matter the most to you, particularly if you're not used to 10, 15, 20,000 steps a day. You will feel it by the end of the week. So make sure that you're prioritizing your health and listen to the advice of folks of how to really prepare for how much activity you really are going to be doing, because you can underestimate it greatly.
Yes. Patrick?
I'll combine a tip with a plug. So again, certainly just be open and look to people and ask questions. I will be available. I know Abhishek was saying he's there, Paul's there, Mark's there. I won't speak for them, but I think early they were saying, reach out to us. Directly hit me up on LinkedIn. If I don't know how to solve your challenge, I'll help you find that person. So again, be open and ask questions.
Great. Thank you. Melhem?
Yeah, I think I'm coming back to enjoy the conference, but also enjoy Vegas and what is around Vegas. There is beautiful scenery. So I had a colleague going for running day after the conference through the hills. So there's around Vegas and in Vegas, there's so much to do. So don't just fly to the conference and go back. Especially if you are from Europe, like myself, be aware that you have a lot to do in Vegas, and enjoy the conference, but do also something around.
Thank you. Paul?
I mean, I agree with the footwear, and I've had to buy shoes at the Skechers that is nearby. So know there are options if you happen to bring the wrong footwear. And if you do happen to be one of those crazy folks that hits Vegas a little too hard, the IV bars are a remarkable way to make yourself feel better and pump yourself full of vitamins. I wouldn't recommend going that hard, but they are there as an option.
Abhishek?
So 4 full days of knowledge flying about everywhere, every room. Make the most you can. Select your sessions in advance so that you don't miss out. And then, yes, carry chargers for your phones, carry good pair of shoes, and all those things.
Great. Feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn if you want to schedule a time. We can meet up on the expo floor. If I'm down and walking around and looking at my phone, please, you can grab me, stop. We can have a conversation, take a photo, whatever you guys like. So looking forward to seeing everybody in person. Hopefully all 5 of us. Melhem, maybe we'll see you at the CMA one next year, but see you at the dinner. Hopefully you're all able to make it, unless you've got client stuff, because we're always so client first. But other than that, we wish you safe travels to Las Vegas and home, and hope that you have the best conference you possibly